Hey guys, my name is Danger, and I am a young, aspiring game developer who has been doing programming for about 7 months, but has never made a video game. So, to fix this, I have joined the Godot Wild Game Jam. What is a game jam, you might ask? It is a set period of time where developers try to make a game based around a theme. For this game jam, it is 9 days. So can I, a young high schooler with 7 months of programming experience, make a full video game in 1 week? Well, first we need the theme for the game jam, and this theme is expansion. Also, the theme was released, and then 2 hours later, I had to go mini golfing with my buddies. So that's already -1 day. We have 8 days to work on the game. But mini golfing wasn't completely wasted. I got to talk with all my buddies about how I could make a game about expansion and like what the mechanics should be and stuff like that. Also, we got eaten alive by mosquitoes. There were so many mosquitoes! But coming back from the mini golfing, I had a full plan for the game. You were going to play as a squirrel, jumping from tree branch to tree branch, trying to collect acorns. Collecting acorns will then allow you to build houses at this big tree spawn thingy. So it's kind of like you expand your village. Now it is day 2. But how are we going to make this game? Simple. Game engines. If you don't know what a game engine is, it is basically a tool to make the creation of video games easier. My engine of choice is the Godot engine, which is the only one allowed for the Godot Wild Game Jam. Kind of self-explanatory. Before I could make a game, I needed the assets. So I made the playable character, Squirrel. Just Squirrel. And then put it in the engine and attached a basic movement script. So now the squirrel can move around and jump, but I think it needs some animations. I added jumping, falling, idle, running, and I made the camera follow the player. I also put this little box in so we can kind of see where we're going. So now, it is day 3. I believe this is a Sunday, and I decided to do nothing. Well, I didn't do nothing. Nothing in this game jam says you have to do it by yourself, and I was thinking, I do not like pixel art. I cannot make any art. So then out of the blue, my little sister, AC, decided she is a pixel art prodigy. So now she is the main artist. I have just done the squirrel, and everything else you see in the game will be done by her. So then the following day, when I decided to actually do something productive, I made an acorn after my little sister gave me the art asset for it, and I used what's called a scene. Now in the Godot game engine, scenes are basically reusable assets we can make. So by putting all of these branches in their own individual scene, I can essentially copy and paste them throughout the entire game. If you ever want to get into using the Godot game engine, you should definitely learn to use scenes. They are very easy to use, but so powerful. Also, the squirrel needs branches to jump to. So after I got the branch assets, I put the branches in their own scenes. So now I have a bunch of branches of varying length and acorns to just copy and paste around the level. So I'm just now waiting for the tree trunks and then I can make a level. The following day, I went crazy. I added ambience to the game. It's not hard to add, but it adds so much to the feel. It makes you feel like you're in a forest. I also added this little acorn counter, so you can see how many acorns you have collected. And then, the tree sprites were sent to me. And with this, I made the first level. The demo! So at this point, I can just copy these tree trunks around, put branches on them, and then put acorns every now and then. And that's basically the game. A bunch of copy and pasting will create a game. Really cool. I then decided to add a background. But to make a good background in a 2D game, it should look 3D. Enter the parallax background. Basically, the background is 3 layers of trees, and each of them moves at a different speed, with the ones farther back being lighter and moving slower than the character, to give the illusion of depth. I also added these little leaves on the top and bottom, but also, you can fall off these tree branches into an infinite void of nothingness and certain death. Only there's no death. So now the squirrel can die and respawn, although the respawn can be a little janky. And all of that was made in a day. But it was at this point that I faced my biggest enemy, burnout. It did not feel good. It felt like I was going constantly that day. So then the next day, all I did was animated these acorns. I was not in the mood to do anything better. But at this point, it was Thursday, and the game was due on Sunday. But I did not want to work on that game. I was cooked. Even if it's just copy and pasting, I was not going to deal with that. It was at this point I really questioned if I wanted to even make a game. I wanted to make big video games. I wanted to start my own company. Not just a company, a big company. Something that can compete with the big names like Nintendo. But after seeing this, it really made me question if this should be my life. So, would I quit? Would I succumb to burnout? No, because I remembered why being a game developer is important to me. Because I can reach people on a scale of millions. I can bring the good news of Christ's resurrection to millions and millions of people. And I can add a little joy to people's lives. Maybe small, but still a little. So, with one day left, I made the whole village spawning mechanic. You can now spawn squirrels. And then I got the actual sprites. And then made the whole level by copy and pasting. And submitted the game with 18 hours to spare. And if this game jam has shown me anything, it is that perseverance is a virtue that must be learned. Even if you're not getting into game development, or if there's somewhere else in your life, then you need to persevere. I guarantee you, whatever you're trying to do in your life will be hard, but that does not mean you just quit and turn your back on it. This is my very first video on this channel, and this is like my starting point. I now have this game to reference the rest of my journey, and I will share it all with you guys here. In this channel, I will be documenting my story, and I hope you guys will join me on this journey. So until next time, Jesus loves you, and danger out.